Hi, Wendy and Dawn. We're back again. Hi, Wendy. How are you
Good
today?
morning, Dawn. I'm doing great. How are you? I'm so excited to be here again.
I'm excited too,
Mhm.
and that we get to do this during this holiday week. We
Yes,
get to do it because we choose to, and it's fun.
yes.
And all of you that are listening or viewing, you get to choose to be here as well. And today we are going to once again talk about what has possibly dimmed your light, and would you like to do something about it? If so, you came to the right place today. So, a topic that has been coming up a lot is the shift in energy on our planet. Here on this place that we call Earth, there's been a big shift. And Wendy, you are very well versed in this. It is the age of Aquarius, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's a completely new energy. And what a lot of people may be feeling is a lot of angst that is coming up, a lot of unsettling inside of themselves, a lot of sadness, a lot of grief. I'll just share publicly, you and I were talking before we hit the record button, that stuff is coming up for me, and it's around the holidays. I know last week we talked about grief during the holidays, and for me, this whole week, it's been a lot of sadness. It's sadness for what I used to have when my children were growing up. It's that family unity. It's the joy. It's the sharing. It's the connection, and because that's not in my life in the same way right now, and it's been really heavy. Um, what we get to do as what I understand to do as a holistic healing facilitator is to acknowledge what is going on and to be okay with what is going on. And uh, I like to share with people. I know this is going to sound really far out there and crazy, but whenever we get triggered, because whenever your emotions come up like that are hurtful, that's called being triggered. And what that means is there's an opportunity for you to go in and to shine the light where it's become dark and let that go. When I talk with clients, I tell them this is such a gift when you are being triggered because you get to choose what to do with it.
Get to
And
choose. It's our choice.
yes, it is.
And just like we talked about last week, being grateful is a way to create a shift. It is, I call it magic, but it's a way to create a shift in how we choose to feel about the change in energy that's happening right now. And as you said, being triggered actually is something to pay attention to. It's something to pay attention to because that means that we are leveling up.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely well said.
So when to be grateful for that is, I mean, that's common sense, right? If we realize that that feeling of being triggered, which is a kind of a buzzword now, right?
Right?
But that feeling of sadness or sort of a missing what was that creates or triggers um, negative feelings. So when we recognize that shift in our feeling, we can go, okay, that means that the world is shifting and we have learned something. We know where we're at. And so now we're going to be I am leveling up. So I have something to look forward to. That means I've evolved a bit more.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And, sometimes we also, what we're feeling, especially as empaths, it's not just what we are feeling, it's what group consciousness is feeling. And we get to ask ourselves too, is this my feeling or is this somebody else's feeling? And it's super powerful to distinguish between whose is what. And I know for myself for this week, it's definitely some group consciousness, but there's also some for myself. And what we get to do too is when we're having those moments of sadness, feeling despair, whatever, it's like, what is it that you're longing for? You're longing for happiness, you're longing for that connection, you're longing for that joy, you're longing for love. And we get to ask ourselves, well, how can I provide that for myself now? And instead of being attached to how you did it in the past, how can I do that now for myself today?
So what are some ways that we can shift that within ourselves right now? What are some ways that we can do that? One thing that comes to mind for me is to think of 5 things that I am grateful for right now in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I did that before I went to bed last night because I was having some sadness. Thinking about Josh being gone this year
Right.
again. It's constant right now. This time of year, it's just a reality. It's for any of us that have lost somebody dear. The holidays, I don't know why, but it just brings it up constantly.
Yes.
So, I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to be down and vibrate low.
Mm-hmm.
It affects everything, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It affects our relationships and everything around us, and we attract more of that frequency, that low vibe. And I don't want any more of that.
Yeah, exactly. You've had enough.
So the way to raise that vibe is to be grateful. Think of 5 simple things to be grateful for right in the moment. Right now, I'm thinking I'm grateful that I've got a computer that I can record a podcast on. I am grateful that my bed is made. My husband made it just a few minutes ago. I'm grateful to have such a good friend, Wendy, right here in front of me to share this podcast with. I am grateful that the weather is beautiful here in Arizona today. And I'm grateful that I still have family here that is going to be with me on this Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. So that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure you've got 5 things off the top of your head you can be grateful for.
Oh, absolutely. Like you, I'm so grateful for you and grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for this a mutual friend, acquaintance of ours. We spoke this morning and she gave me some incredible insight about the year 2023 of what's coming up, because I've been feeling some things, and she basically validated what it is that I'm feeling. We're not lucky in having nice weather like you are. It is cold and snowy out, and I am so grateful to be in my nice warm house. And I'm grateful to have power and water. I'm sitting here with 3 beverages, juice and vitamin C and water. And I'm so grateful for that, because there are so many people that don't have some of those basic things. And one of the things that came to me as you were speaking about what can we do, love the gratitude. Another thought is, what can we do that brings us that kind of connection and love and whatnot, is what can we do to help somebody else?
I
What
love
can we
that.
do that's outside of ourselves? There are all kinds of people who need help right now. There's donations, you can go to shelters and help people. How can you give back to community and talk about feeling the love and the joy and the family unity, when you go and help other people that are in need? There's just a thought that flew in.
I love that. Yeah, because you can create more family. You can,
Yes.
even if they don't know you, or you can give to others, and that joy that not only do you give them by giving to them, but you receive from that exponentially, creates a really high vibration all around. And then others may be watching and decide to do the same thing.
Yes.
So it's a snowball effect to give.
Yeah.
That's really excellent. Another thing that I thought about to shift the energy is this morning I got up early, had a lot on my mind, as did you, my friend.
Yes.
And I looked out the window and there was this beautiful stray cat. And I happened to have a big, huge bowl of water for the birds to drink. It's on the ground, and that cat was getting a drink out of that bowl of water. And I thought, oh, I'm so glad that that's there. It's for not just the birds, but for the cat that just is thirsty and doesn't have a home. And he's been hanging out in our neighborhood, and my neighbor and I have been watching him. She's been feeding him. And just we can find joy just by looking out the window. We can find joy by walking in nature and appreciating the beauty of it. Even on a cold, snowy day, it's Christmas season. That's a cozy feeling, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we get to redefine ourselves during times like this, during these times that we feel triggered, and yeah, because we want to do things differently anyway. And it's that is a gift to get to evolve and to do things differently. And
Yeah,
yeah.
that brings me to made me think of something else that we talked about a few minutes ago, and that is that we get to do things, absolutely, but we also get to be different.
Yes.
We get to
Yes.
choose to be different, to change our mindset, to change our attitude, to instead of a frown, put on a smile, look in the mirror, give yourself a high five. That's what one of my mentors teaches people to do, the high five habit. Can't think of her name right now. Mel Robbins, the high five habit. Look in the mirror, go to the mirror in the morning and give yourself a high five and say, good job, you got up this morning. Now get outside and go run or something.
I love it. And I'm going to take that just a smidgens further. When you look in the mirror, say, hello, beautiful.
Yes.
Start that nice talk to yourself. Doesn't matter if you just got out of bed and you got bed head or you got some leftover mascara from last night that you didn't get wiped off. If you look scary, it's like, hello, beautiful, and really mean it. And
Yes.
that can really shift. That's starting to give yourself what it is that you really need, that recognition, that love.
Yeah.
Because I believe that underneath all of what we're searching for is love and connection and validation. And we get to provide ourselves with all three of those. And circling back about being triggered and the shift in the energy right now, I want to touch about that a little bit more because the energy has been so big. And if someone is not aware of what's going on, it can just be sheer chaos. Uh, you know, just functional relationships, your health going sideways, things going on at work that are distressing. These are all triggers. And what was shared with me a few months ago by people who same mindset here, talking about healing and triggering and everything, is that the energy is so massive through the end of 2022, and people are going to be triggered like crazy. And when you're aware of that, it's just super, super cool. And so going into 2023, I feel that it's important for people to really start understanding that it's okay to be triggered. You're going to be triggered. And then, like we said before, see that as a gift, not a bad thing. You got a problem in your relationship. Yes, on the surface, from the ego point of view, that really sucks. It really hurts. On the other hand, you get to say, okay, what is this telling me? What is it that I need to shift, and be open to that? I have said before that, when people talk about change or healing, that's like a really scary word. That's like terrifying because the ego is going, no, I want to be this the way I am because I really like being dysfunctional. And really, when you can say it's okay, let's not be this way anymore. It's so empowering. And when we go in and acknowledge these triggers, see them as a gift, we get to become more fully present in life. Because we're not being dragged subconsciously from our past. We're not being pulled subconsciously to our future.
Be
Depression,
present.
Yes, exactly. In the here and now. And learning to be present was one of the most incredible gifts I gave myself. And how I got there was through healing. I used to suffer tremendous depression and anxiety. That's past, depression is past stuff. I heard someone express this and I thought it was really simple. Depression is hanging on to the past, anxiety is worrying about the future.
That's really good and so true.
Yeah, and so simple. And so when you're busy being pulled in two different directions, you don't get to enjoy, you don't even get to enjoy the holidays right now.
And that's sad to miss out on that. And then
It
there's regret
is.
that comes. Then the regret
Yes.
comes later. And so let's skip the regret. Let's just go right to the present, not presents, but
Right.
presents,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
Let's go to the present right now and find joy in what is here now and who we
Yes.
are with now.
Yes.
Because we get
Yes.
to be present.
Yes, we
That
do.
B word again, and we get
Yes.
to be with other people. Maybe
Yes.
it's not everybody that we want to be with. Maybe some of those people are gone, or maybe they're in another state, or they're just unable to be with us right now. But we
Right.
do get to be together with somebody else. There's that song, Love the One You're With. Love the
Yep.
one you're with right now.
Yep, absolutely. And if for some reason you can't be with another person, guess what? You get to be with the best person of all, and that is yourself.
There you go.
And when you are fully present with yourself and be with yourself, you get to be more fully uh, present, more fully, more fun to be around. Just
Yeah.
it's like it opens up your heart and your solar plexus so you can just take it all in and just, yeah, be with yourself. Yeah.
Yes, I'm working on this movement, Wendy, and you're aware of it. And it is redefining the word self-centered.
Yes, love it.
To be centered in self is critical
Mm.
for your well-being, for everyone else's well-being, because you cannot give fully unless you are centered in yourself. And like you said, love yourself. Go to that mirror and say, hello, beautiful. It doesn't matter if you've got, mascara under the eyes happens in the morning. It just happens. So, and we can find humor in that. Another way to find
Yes.
joy is to find humor in things that we didn't before. But
Yes.
to find humor, doesn't that lift your vibe? Doesn't
Absolutely.
Yeah. So being centered in yourself is critical. So we have to
Yes.
take care of ourselves. We have to put on our oxygen mask on first before we can help others. That applies to everything in this world. Know who you are, love who you are, and be solid in that, which brings confidence, which is beautiful. Isn't confidence beautiful? It
Yes,
makes
it is.
anyone beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
And you will attract more of what you want.
absolutely. More of everything. With confidence, if you're single, it's more attractive to a partner. You stand in your confidence, knowing who you are is, yeah, it can attract more wealth, more health. Um, yes,
So 2023 has got a lot to offer for us, doesn't it?
it does. And I love your movement. And it's so important because especially as women, we are taught not to put ourselves first. And it
Mhm.
is time to put ourselves first. And I am in a movement too. And they are our movements absolutely tied together. It's just said differently. And that is for people to wake up, to realize and to remember who they really are as these divine beings of light and love that are here to experience joy and all these emotions, all the chaos. It's like a training ground. And you don't have to be stuck in whatever constrictive situation you're in. You don't have to be stuck in whatever constrictive emotions you're in. And so much of that goes back to what you said is standing in yourself, being centered in yourself.
Yeah, because the reality of it is that is all we can control.
Exactly. Like you say, our little bubble.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
it.
self bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. You have
we'll
a
talk
great visual
about
for
that in
that.
another episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the key. I think, if you find yourself waking up in a funk right now, and a lot of people are, now you have some tools. You can be grateful. You can go to that mirror and either find humor and or just say hello, beautiful, whatever it takes. Start loving yourself and where you're at, who you're with, and what your future holds, because you get to create it. We get to
Yes.
create our future.
Yes, we do. And ask yourself, if you're waking up in a funk, what is it that I need to know about this funk in order to let it go?
Ah, yes, letting it go.
Yeah.
We're the queen of letting things go, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Queens of that right here. Wonderful. Well, I think this is a wonderful topic that is needed right now in our world as this energy shifts into the age of Aquarius. It's been happening for a year now, and it's an evolution. And sometimes, usually, there is pain that comes with that evolution.
Yes.
So if you're feeling pain, loss, some down energy, just know that you're evolving. That is why it's painful to be born again. It just is.
Yes, that is perfectly said. I was going to say that too. It's like a birthing process. Exactly. You're being reborn. And
And it's a process. It's
yeah,
what we do.
yeah,
It's a reality of our life. You don't want to stay stuck. You don't want to stay in that comfort zone of what was. We don't want that, because after a while it is not comfortable.
right.
We cannot experience joy there. We experience joy where we're going.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for being here again today with our wonderful audience. Thank you, all of you, for being here and for listening to the Lightweavings podcast. And any words of wisdom for the week, Wendy?
Oh, so many. Let's narrow it down here. I always say, always remember that you're loved and that that you matter, and you are worth it. You are worth it to go within and ask yourself, what is it that you need when you get yourself triggered? And because so many people struggle with self-worth. And I just want everyone to understand that you are priceless. You are a gift, to the world.
You're a gift.
And yeah.
Gift. It's that time of year. So give that gift. Be present.
Yes, yes, you're a miracle.
Yeah. Amen.
Yes.
Beautiful. I mean, mic drop.
How about you, my friend? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just think that, these are uncomfortable topics that we talk about here, uncomfortable for those that aren't ready for it. Obviously, you're ready for it and you're here for a reason. I'm sure there's one thing that you got from this audio or video, and we hope that you take it and spread that love throughout the world.
Yes.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes,
Happy
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
New Year. See you next week.
Yes. Thanks, Dawn.